Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. I don't know what time it is where you're going to watch this check-in with Pierre B. So it's not every Friday, it's every other Friday, but close enough. And today I'm very happy to have Stephanie with us. Stephanie, alors, do we say Versin or Versin? How do we
pronounce? We should say Versin just to make sure.
Voilà, that was the first thing I wanted to make sure of because I was like, Versin, Versin. Stephanie, thank you for being with Check-in this morning. Check-in is every other Friday. We have leaders of the hospitality industry who come and talk and share their career paths, their experience, and a lot of good stuff of what they do, especially with the current situation that we are facing around the world and in California as well. So Stephanie, thank you for being with us. We're going to spend 45 minutes, an hour together. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Stephanie, if you don't mind, I'd like to spend 2 or 3 minutes introducing yourself for people who don't know you, and
sure.
Just roughly, you know, just for them to have an idea of who is Stephanie Versin.
Okay.
And after that, we'll go more into details. So Stephanie Versin, and I do not know it by heart, so I have to read my notes. So Stephanie, you've been in the industry, in the hospitality industry for over 20 years. You worked in Europe and you are in the US currently, you are in San Francisco.
Yes.
You studied in France at the Rouen Business School. You got an MBA, you got a major in international management. You have a Bachelor of Business Administration. You do speak 3 foreign languages, Russian, French, and English. You are very involved with association, like a lot of people I interview here on Check-in. A lot of you guys are involved, and we'll talk about what you're doing. Your top skills are marketing strategy, communications, digital marketing, social media, and email marketing. And that's something that I think will interest a lot of our viewers, is because you are a professional in marketing. You have a very long experience in marketing. And I'm glad to add this side of the business to our little talk. So I'm excited and very happy to have you today.
Good.
You have a very interesting parcours. You work for large hotel chains, Accor, Hyatt Hotels, and you work for boutique hotel chains as well, like Kimpton Hotel Group, Kimpton Restaurant and Hotel Groups. You work for hotel management company like Sightline Hospitality currently. You work for a real estate group like Prometheus.
Yes.
Prometheus. And you worked elsewhere for the Research Institute of Natural History Museum, the California Academy of Science, which is a fantastic museum to go to if you are coming to San Francisco, and if you are in the Golden Gate Park. This is a must. It's fantastic. So you have a very diverse experience. And lastly, I always like to look at our common connection on LinkedIn, because I put this on LinkedIn mainly and on YouTube as well. Actually, I have a YouTube channel. We have 59 connections in common.
Wow.
Not bad. Huh?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know who we know, but we know some people.
Me neither.
But we know each other. So that's important.
That's the start.
And we're going to know more of each other after this.
Yes.
My first question is, how did you arrive in the hospitality industry? You studied marketing. You could have chose any industry. Any marketing can be applied anywhere. Why the hotel industry? And you moved away from it from a very little time, and you came back to it.
Correct.
Why is that?
You know, after my business school, I moved to London, and I didn't really know which type of industry I would go to. So I started, my English was not super good at the time. So I thought maybe I would have a better chance in a French company in London than not. So I sent my resumes to a lot of companies, French companies in London, and I had an interview with Accor in London. So I really, really randomly bumped into the hospitality industry, and I stayed there. For almost my entire career. So it was not planned, Pierre. It was not planned at all.
But
I love it.
you end up staying with Accor Hotel 13 years?
8 years.
8 years.
8 years and 3 different positions and 2 different countries. Because I started in London, then I moved to open the Sofitel Chicago Water Tower back then in 2002. And then I moved to their headquarters based in Dallas, Texas at the time.
What did you know you will end up traveling and come to the US, or it was just one more opportunity that came your way and say, hey, you know what, why not, let's go? Or when you reached Accor, did you already had in mind that Accor is everywhere, if I need to travel, I'll go? Or
I didn't know that at the beginning because I was so young and naive back then. But after 4 years in London and I saw this opening in the States, I always wanted to go to the States. And my English finally got much better. So I asked to be transferred, which I successfully had, which is very nice. And I did my first opening of my hotel as a marketing manager back then in the hotel, which gave me really a very realistic view of marketing, more marketing operations, to really understand how it works on site versus the corporate world, basically. And I loved it. It was really a very great experience. And then I moved back to the corporate office in North America, which was based in Dallas, Texas. For Accor.
So that was one of my questions. So and I didn't think of this actually. So there is a difference between working in marketing at headquarter, kind of makes sense, to working in marketing at the property level. Can you explain us how that works? What is the relationship between, or how different it is? And
yes. So what I call marketing at the property level is I call it field marketing. So it's much more grassroots marketing of building local partnerships with your chamber of commerce, with your tourism board, with your, local communities, basically. And you do programming on site. So that the type of marketing activation that you cannot really do from a corporate office. Also nowadays, you do social media mainly from on-site because it's really hard to be social media. You need to really know what's happening locally, what's going on around the hotel. So you have to be most of the time on site to do it, to do a genuine job for social media marketing. On the corporate side, what I do is much more generating qualified traffic, taking care of search engine marketing, search engine optimization, website building, website upgrades. So anything that brings traffic and all the tools that we use through e-commerce to build revenue could be done at the corporate level and should be done at the corporate level, because this is a very heavy, hefty activity that needs to be sustained with an expert team. On my team, I have a web developer that really knows coding, that really knows website, front end and back end. I have a digital marketing manager on my team that really takes care of everything from PPC with Google to paid advertising, display advertising, retargeting, meta search, etc., etc. And then also on the corporate side, you also do a lot of PR. So you have really, to me, there's 2 levels of marketing to make things working at a hotel level. And nowadays it's rare to have marketing managers at the hotel level because, especially after COVID, we have seen a reduction on manpower from a marketing point of view. So I do much more from the corporate level right now, but as soon as we could, and as soon as we're over this COVID period, I'm really hoping to reinstigate marketing managers on site because they know their local market much more than I can from where I'm at. Does it make sense?
Yes. Well, yeah, it absolutely makes sense. And I didn't see it this way, but yes, thank you for enlightening me. So did you see, you worked for, we talked about large company, small company. Did you see a difference on how marketing is considered or approached, or the importance of marketing depending on the brand or the size of the hotel? Is there how do you think that, yeah, marketing is perceived and budget
Yes.
wise? I mean, is there, I don't know.
I think, a big group like Accor, their marketing structure is very a very well-oiled machine. They really provide support to each hotel and to each brand, and it's super well structured and super well organized and very well staffed. So when you are a brand hotel asset like that, you really benefit from a huge group behind you to really help you to push your promotion, to push your marketing, to push any marketing activities that are organized around it. Hyatt was the same as well, very well organized. With the corporate office was super organized for really the marketing discipline. Kimpton was really interesting because the beauty of Kimpton is that they don't believe in SOPs as much. So it's a little bit more freedom, a little bit more creativity and innovation with the brand. And you can really see it through each hotel has their own identity, personality. But regardless, their marketing team at the home office, as they call it, was also very well organized and structured to support each hotel in each region. And nowadays, even with their purchase of HIG, Kimpton team marketing has stayed the same. So Intercontinental didn't touch that very important team that knows how to sell the brand. And then you move to smaller companies like Sightline Hospitality is a very small hotel management companies, and we have a portfolio of 15 hotels, 5 restaurants, and few spas throughout North America. We really provide marketing programs curated to each hotel. So to me, I'm coming from very well organized, structure, heavy corporate marketing teams to something where I have the freedom to create everything and anything we need. So it's good because the training of those big brands, I'm bringing it into small, independent, unique boutique hotels, soft branded hotels, big box boutique hotels as well. And I have the knowledge, but we can also have the freedom to adapt it, which is really nice. I'm not saying that there is no freedom in big groups, but so it's a bit more heavy to come to deploy a program to many, many units instead of just one hotel. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does. So, and you did, for Kimpton, did you do this as well? So it sounds a little bit similar Sightline on Kimpton as far as how they run the business on their properties with each identity. Is that similar?
It's fairly similar. So at Kimpton, I was more in charge of the loyalty program and email marketing. And there was a team that was in charge of the branding as well. For Sightline, I kind of do a little bit of everything and both. So that's really nice because you can really curate to the hotel, to the destination, to the locals, to the specificities of each hotel.
Wow, and it's not too challenging to have so many wallets to handle, so many images.
Yeah, that's probably why I love this industry because it's.
Yeah.
I don't see it as a challenge. I think I see it as an opportunity of creativity and reimagining yourself. Like 2020, we had to think about hotels used to be a gathering place and people gather and communal places, and we had to think about ourselves as social distancing, completely reinventing how we were doing business, basically, from an operational point of view. Same for marketing. We had to develop and create more packages that were really responding to the new trend we have seen, which is people working remotely, people on the road working remotely for 5 days, 7 days, or 30 days. And so we had to adapt very quickly to a complete new trend that we had not seen before. We had a very strong summers in our hotels, which was absolutely unexpected, knowing that, yes, there was COVID, but people really wanted to travel regardless of the virus and the pandemic. And we had great summers, and we even had great fall because kids are not coming back to school. So there is families checking in our lobbies. And so we had to adapt. We had to absolutely adapt and basically create schoolcation packages where your meeting rooms is turned into a classroom, where we give online tutorial resources at check-in for parents to figure out the remote school for their kids. So we saw, as much as this year was challenging, I think it was an amazing year to see how our industry recreate itself over and over again. We would have never thought of this a year ago, never. And that's the beauty of it. I think that's the silver lining of 2020 and this pandemic, is that you have to really adapt and react quickly to survive, like in nature. And I think this industry is very agile, has been through a lot, and 2020 was another example of how adaptable and agile the hospitality industry is.
Well, and do you think that's an industry that has been, I think it is, but you have to tell me, that has, is it an industry that has been hit, I would say, more deeply than other industries? That, you're talking about adaptation, but we really, that industry has to, there is no, as you said, there is no choice, right?
No.
In other industry, yeah, you have to adapt, you have to change a few things, but where you stand, you have to.
We had to, like the restaurants industry, or the spa industry, you had to really, really rethink completely your workbook and recreate it and be like, okay, this is how we are going to have to adapt technology to make the journey touchless, from check-in to check-out. We had to put our restaurants outside. We had to create a new business line like takeout for our restaurants to survive during the core of the pandemic. But we did it. We put our chefs to do barbecues by the poolside instead of being inside their restaurant. We created bars in our beach instead of being inside. Like we had to do it, and we're seeing it again and again here, even in San Francisco, where everybody is having parklets and heat lamps and hoping that the winter will not be too hard. My heart goes out to regions where winter is much harder than in California, for example. But I also do know that we are creative as human beings, and we will adapt, and we will come out strong. We will come out stronger from this pandemic. I've seen people coming together so much during this pandemic, and that's the beauty of it to me.
Very nice. Yes, I agree. Yeah. Community is stronger.
Yes, it is much stronger.
Is marketing involved in all, you're talking about, all the adaptation that were needed to be done internally? How does it work? Do you think marketing is involved into taking the decision, or it is more about promoting how those decisions are being put in place? How do you work, or how is marketing involved in all these, because I don't know how in those processes?
The beauty of marketing nowadays is we have a seat at the table, and more we are collaborating with revenue management, with sales, with operations, to make sure that we can support and we are part of the decision making as well. We know the guests, we know the feedback, we know what needs to be communicated. So to me, we are very much in a collaborative aspects with all the major decision makers at the table. Revenue management, tells us about pricing and offers. We communicate them, we market them. Sales is also, we support sales with new packages to make sure that they have some tools to sell whatever we can sell during the pandemic. Operations, of course, when they need their social distancing, signage and communication, and rethink the whole communication to the guest, because the check-in and check-out experience is going to be completely different. This is marketing as well. So we definitely are playing a very important role. much more than just a supportive role, I believe, especially nowadays.
So that's a change you've seen among those years. I mean, that's a trend, right?
Yes, it is a trend. You know,
okay.
back in the days when I was with Hyatt, I was traveling to our resorts every week, and I was traveling with my VP of Revenue Management and my VP of Sales. So that was the three disciplines together, visiting the hotel to really assess how the hotel was doing. So it was very much a mix of discipline, looking at a hotel, making sure that everything was working, and it was not just like marketing on one side and operation on another side and revenue management. It was a team. We were a team visiting this hotel, making sure we understood the challenges and bringing some new strategies, from new pricing to new communication to new marketing tactics. So more and more we have to, and we are integrating with the other disciplines. We have to. That's the only way we will be not having a fragmented communication or conversation with our guests. It's to be integrated. It's to be on the same page.
I have a question for you as well. That is not a question, but I'm going to ask it as a question.
Okay. Go for it.
What do you think of digital marketing? Is digital marketing becoming something more and more relevant and important?
Oh, yeah. You know, 15 years ago, Pierre, marketing was for me branding and print advertising and direct mailing. That's what we were doing in marketing 15, 20 years ago. And it has completely evolved in adding about 15 more activities, including search engine optimization, search engine marketing, influencer marketing, anything that you can think of nowadays is digital marketing. Everything has moved to digital because people are spending their life on their device, as we know. So it has evolved tremendously. That's the beauty of, that's why I love marketing, is that I never do the same thing from one year to another, because there's a new thing that needs to be addressed or needs to be learned or needs to be adapted. And the beauty of digital marketing is that everything could be measured. Back in the days, you had to fight for print advertising money, and people were just like, well, how much is really going to bring back to me? What is the ROI? Nowadays, you can track everything. And that's the beauty of digital marketing, is that you can track on a daily basis what's happening, how is your display advertising campaign performing, and you can adapt and change on the spot. So to me, it's a much quicker environment, which is good, because if we need to adapt and change or stop a campaign, you can. When you have reserved a print advertising media plan for a year, this is not going to stop. So back in the days, if your campaign was not performing or was not well received, you either had to cancel it and lose a lot of money, but that was it. Like, you couldn't do it. You couldn't adapt. Here nowadays, you change display banners, you change keywords, you change your budget on a dime. And that's what I like. It's super dynamic. And then it really brings us also, we can prove that we are bringing a good return on investment at any time. Anytime you can say, this is what we are at year to date, month to date, week to date, with any campaigns and any digital tactics that you are rolling out. And that's the beauty of it.
How do you stay up to speed with all those new software tools and stuff that, as you say, it keeps on coming? I mean, it's like...
It has. I love it. So I read a lot about it. I receive a lot of newsletters. I follow experts. One day I will be back in conferences,
Yeah.
but even a lot of webinars online. And I have a team that is experts. So I push them to teach me even more, because they are into it every day. And I'm not as much, but I really try to keep myself. I read a lot. I really go to webinars a lot. I try to see what's going on, what's new. That's what I do on weekends.
Nice. Reading.
And I love doing it. It's not homework for me. It's just really pleasant.
There you go. Well, good for you. So, if we have viewers interested to join marketing, to work in the marketing for hospitality, what do you think the main, how does this person has to behave? Who could be successful in marketing in our industry? What do you think the profile of that person could be? What are the strengths that person? You're talking about adaptability. That's hard to say. That sounds to be one of them.
At the same time, Pierre, I would say that the being successful in marketing is knowing how to plan in advance. So the planning is still very much relevant. What is changing nowadays is that whatever you have planned is going to change on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, potentially on a weekly basis, as we see right now. So I think the idea is to make sure that you have a plan, because that's your base, but your base being very open-minded that this plan is going to change about 50,000 times throughout the year, potentially, especially if you, like this year, my marketing plan that I built last year in December would have never guessed this pandemic. And here we go. And we changed everything, and we readapted, reassessed, looked at what's happening in every region, from shelter in place to lockdown to reopening to maybe reopening. So being very flexible and accepting the fact that whatever you have planned 6 months ago is good and will potentially be executed or will be adapted, changed to the current circumstances. And regardless of a pandemic, I think this was still valid before, and it's even more valid nowadays.
So, as you know, our governor, Gavin Newsom, just announced that potentially we may fall. Yes. California is divided into 5 regions, depending on the occupancy at the ICUs, and we may go back into shelter in place. So, for example, a news like this that was announced yesterday at noon has an impact on what you plan to market for. And
I spent my entire morning making sure that if the news is confirmed within the 24 hours, we are ready to communicate to the guests on all our digital channels to make sure that everybody knows this is what's going on anywhere or everywhere in California. So yes, this was not planned that we might be back to a lockdown, shelter in place. But I heard it yesterday like you, and I worked with the team to make sure that if it is confirmed today or later this weekend, we'll be ready.
So that industry, you love it because it keeps you on your toes, right? It sounds like, that's what it sounds like.
Yes. There's never one day that looks like the same, which is great. That's the beauty of it also. It's always evolved. There's always something new, a new tool, a new trend, a new something. That's why I think I love it. And I love it also for the people. I think the hospitality industry really behave as a family. We're all in together, and we saw it so much in 2020. And that's why I came back to the hospitality industry, because I feel like it's my family at the end of the day.
It's funny when you say that, because you are on the marketing side. And as I was telling you, I had a lot more people on the operation side, like general managers. And what you just said is completely what they're saying. We are a people industry, and there is not one day like the next day will be. I mean, every day is different. And I think in the restaurant business, it's the same, right? If you have a restaurant owner, I mean, there is no days that are the same. And that's what keeps all of us to love that industry, is that today is not going to be tomorrow, right?
For sure.
I mean, I will have to ask one day, I will have to interview someone in accounting. Maybe it could be different, but maybe it's the same for them. I don't know. Maybe one of those days. Let me ask you a bit more about Sightline. So we talked briefly about Sightline. Could you tell us where they're based, what they're doing, where the properties are located, and we talked about what you're doing already, but let's reassess it one more time. Just talking about today, where you are, and what is the brand about, and why did you choose Sightline?
Sure. So Sightline Hospitality is a new hotel management company that was created in 2019 from the merger of Kokua Hospitality and Filament Hospitality. And our portfolio is about 15 hotels throughout the states, from Greenport, Long Island to Waikiki, Hawaii. We have 15 hotels, 5 restaurants, and 3 spas. And, I joined Filament Hospitality, which became Sightline Hospitality, because I've never done a hotel management company. I was always on the brand side, on the big corporate side with Kimpton, Hyatt, and Accor. And this time I just wanted to, that's another challenge. I think it's the other side of the coin when you really manage on behalf of owners. And what I like is that all our hotels are unique and different. We manage branded hotels, soft branded hotels, big box independent hotels, boutique hotels throughout the states. So there is everyone is a marketing case, basically. Everyone is in different destinations that have their own dynamic. And that's what I like as well, is to adapt to what's happening in Wyoming right now compared to California, compared to Hawaii. Like the COVID, even the pandemic was very different from region to region this year. And so that's what I like. It's every hotel, some are small, some are bigger, some are resorts, some are more small boutique hotels. So it's the dynamic of the different type of assets that I really like, because you have to really curate your marketing to it. So yes, that's the answer in a nutshell. I wanted to really see the other side of how to manage hotels assets for owners.
I think I just saw on LinkedIn yesterday, and I don't know if it's you who posted this, but the Dr. Wilkinson
will be reopening actually in January. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's kind of a sneak peek, but we will reopen in January after a major renovation, which took a little longer due to, of course, COVID and the fires in Calistoga. But this is going to be an amazing wellness retreat.
If you are going to the wine region, if you are traveling to Napa Valley, you should. Okay, it's beautiful and it's fantastic, and it's wine and everything, food. If you're going to Calistoga, that property, yeah, I mean,
it's amazing. It's been there since 1952, and it's been completely reimagined, and it's really, really, really going to be an amazing resort.
So this caught my attention yesterday, because let me read what I read about Dr. Wilkinson briefly. We are looking forward to mud bath. So people need to know that Calistoga is famous for mud bath. It's very health conscious. Drinks in the backyard. Pétanque.
There we go, Pierre.
Yeah.
That's the French touch.
Pétanque, which is bocceable, right? And Pinot events. I'm like, I mean, what else can we add?
There. Exactly. January, we'll be opening our doors.
This is it. Yeah, I will be the doorman. I don't mind. But I need to play pétanque.
We'll do.
Let's go and play. We were talking about COVID, and as we know, we are maybe back into shelter in place. Hopefully not. Fingers crossed. Everybody do what they need to do. Wash your hands, wear your mask, distancing, and then it's going to be all good. And we can all keep, the properties open and have you coming to the properties. Random question. How do you, no one knows, nobody has a clue, but how do you see 2021 being for you, Sightline, the industry in general? And it's very hard to tell, obviously, but I'm a
very optimistic person, and I know that at some point we'll have a vaccine. I know that at some point people will feel safe again to travel. They already do feel safe to travel when they stay at hotels that really have a strong protocol. And I'm really hoping by Q2 2021 we'll see a rebound, and this is my hope, and I really think that it will happen. It's just a question of time, as always.
Good. Yes. So for San Francisco, I think Joe D'Alessandro's San Francisco Travel was saying that, as you know, the city of San Francisco was impacted a lot more because it's a conference city. You don't have any properties in San Francisco, correct?
We do.
Which one?
Axiom Hotel is right by Union Square. It's still open, remained open during COVID for essential business. And, you know, struggling for sure, because without conferences, it's a little difficult. And San Francisco is still not, the demand is not there yet.
Is the cable car open? I can't remember if they opened the cable car.
No, it's not.
Well, it's a bit less noisy then, because by Union Square it can be loud. So
it could.
Here is an advantage.
There is one.
Actually, Union Square is very quiet in general right now.
Unfortunately, I would say.
Yeah, the whole place. Let me talk about your local involvement, about association. You are very involved with Lava Mae. Lava Mae is a Lava Mae is a great non-profit organization taking care of the needy, of the homeless, and they offer showers. A place to be safe, a place to take a shower for a lot of people, and that association has been doing a tremendous job. And actually, Standard Textile is supporting as well Lava Mae. I don't know if you know that, but we're helping them out. And as well as I think there is 3 or 4 other associations nationwide that we're doing that with. You are volunteer there, you're donator, you give marketing support, and you're doing as well for Mudville Senior Dog Rescue and for Museum of Craft and Design. You did that. Could you tell us why you decided to be involved and what it means to you?
So Lava Mae for me is one of these organizations that needs help, and we need to do so much more for the homelessness issues in San Francisco. And I thought that their concept was brilliant to give mobile showers. So basically they are turning minibuses into mobile showers for the homeless and have a service throughout the city for homelessness to be able to come clean and have an interview, for example. So I thought that was a very important step towards a solution. I love dogs and I love senior dogs as well, and I feel like it's also very important to support organizations that try to place senior dogs in and remove them from shelters. So that was, that's something important. And then art, I love art, and the Museum of Craft and Design is a very small art museum in Dog Patch in San Francisco, and I thought that was important also to help them and give my time. That was a little long ago, but it's still dear to my heart.
Wow, very nice, very nice. Well, so you're able to help out the community, and I think a lot of people. Well, that's good. I mean, you're a great example. I did interview a few people in the past who are very involved as well in association. And it's great to see that if we are in hospitality, we seem to care for others, and we seem to be involved in helping people. I mean, I think we really do it by heart. We don't do it because we have to do it.
I agree.
But I think we have a natural way it's in us kind of doing things, and we enjoy it. So it's
part of the hospitality of hospitality, you know?
I mean, I think it goes over than just to be a job, right? That industry takes you, right? It takes a personality.
It does.
To be.
I agree.
We are so good, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Hey, it's good sometimes. Personal questions. for you? I mean, they were personal before as well.
As well,
but more about you. Let's start with this. What is your most proud professional achievement? Is there something? And I know, you have many years of experience and you did many things. But is there one thing that stands out in your career where you really felt good about, or you're like proud about? Is there? I don't know if there is.
Yes, and it happened this year. When the COVID started in March, we had a lot of our associates that had to be furloughed, and we built up a GoToFundMe to gather money to help our associates financially. So we did a huge campaign to really try to get, we reached out to all our vendors. We did the whole thing to collect a little bit of funds to really support our associates. And we were able to support about 160 of our associates financially in April. I know it was not enough, but I was glad that Sightline was absolutely on board to do that. And it felt a little better to have done it, for sure. So that would be probably one of my top memory of, in the same vein, in my last job at Prometheus, we donated, we did also a GoFundMe, and we donated money to Lavame through the corporate giving. So being able to, join the personal passion with being able to have your corporation giving to your favorite nonprofit was something else too.
Well, if you would not have been in the hospitality industry, where would you have ended up being? Do you know? Because, as you said, you started just by luck. I mean, it started, the start with Headquarter started just.
I think I would have been in an industry that also deal with people and service. I think it's really in me that I love people and I love providing services to them. And so I might have ended up there anyway, Pierre.
Okay. There you go. 360.
Exactly. I come back to it. So.
Hey, we look fantastic with our two bridges. You have one and I have the other. That's fantastic.
Twins.
Yes, we are covering the two bridges. What means the Bay Area to you? You've been in the Bay Area for a while. Why San Francisco? Why the Bay Area? Why not New York? You traveled. You were in London. You were in the US in different places. It seemed that you love the Bay Area. Why is that?
It feels home to me. I think the Bay Area is the most European region of the States. You might say New York, but New York is still a little too crazy and hyper. I really do think that the Bay Area is the closest to Europe for me.
Got it.
That's why I love it. I call it home. It's my second home. It's my first home, actually. Now.
Yeah, it is. In 2 years from now, we'll have spent more time here in San Francisco than in France.
Yep, that's the way to go.
I don't know if I can ask you that, but I'm going to ask you anyway. What is the best property, the best hotel that you went to? And as far as, doesn't have to be luxury, but, experience, scenery, just a memorable experience. What the hotel, and it doesn't have to be in the US, it can be anywhere else, but is there one that stands out to you when you think about the trip you took on a hotel where you were like, whoa, now that's nice, fun?
I have many favorites here. I have one that is really, really dear to my heart, which is the one that I opened in 2002 in San Francisco, in Chicago, the Sofitel Chicago Water Tower, because I opened it and that was an amazing experience. So this hotel will forever stay very special in my heart.
Got it. Very well. If you have people coming to San Francisco, where do you bring them? What restaurants, when they're open, naturally? Restaurants, bars, and place to visit. What is your 3 restaurants, bars, place to visit in San Francisco? If we have people who want to come to San Francisco, where should you go? And it can be, let's make it the Bay Area. the Bay
Okay.
Area?
Sure. One of my favorite restaurants is Lolo on Valencia.
Yeah.
A very nice tapas restaurant. They do an excellent job and excellent service. When I have people coming to the Bay, I try to go to Alcatraz. I know it's super touristy. It's one of the best destination for me. It's really unusual. It's an amazing tour. It's an amazing place with full of history. So that would be my first spot.
Got it. Stephanie, I don't think I have more.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I don't think I have more questions for you. I really thank you for the time you gave us.
Thank you.
Before we part way, is there anything you want to end up our casual conversation with? Last words to share with our group?
Yes, we'll get through this, and let's be safe. Let's do our part. That's really important. If we do our part, we'll be done with it sooner, for sure.
Cannot agree more. Yeah, let's be safe. Then the business are open. Then you guys can come into San Francisco, travel, enjoy our beautiful properties. Check out Sightline Hospitality. They are fantastic, very nice, cute, catered, customized properties. And I got a chance to see one of them in Napa. Actually, we have two in Calistoga. It's really worth it. Stephanie, thank you for all the feedback. Thank you for all the information. It was very nice to have you. And
Same here.
we keep in touch. Be well, be safe.
Merci beaucoup.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Bye.